What is homeschooling? Education is a staple of every culture, whether the teaching is done in a school, at home, by the village, or any combination of the three. Children are educated. They are educated in the values and traditions and resources that are necessary for each culture to survive. The concept of education is traced back far into history, with early Greek civilization placing a great emphasis on the need to educate children. Aristotle is quoted as saying, "Those who educate children are to be honored more than those who produce them, for one only gave them life, the other the art of living well." The ways of educating children are varied, with options ranging from homeschooling to traditional public school to private schools to boarding schools and everything in between. Many parents these days take the approach of homeschooling their children. Homeschooling is exactly what it sounds like. Children are schooled in the home. Upside to homeschooling. Although at times the idea of homeschooling has been controversial, I believe that there are many upsides to it. The main benefit is that you, the parent, have control over what your children are learning. You know their strengths and weaknesses, their passions and interests, and what method works best with them. You can tailor the schooling to each child's need, and your children do not run the risk of being lost in the crowd of a classroom. Another upside of homeschooling is that you get to have more time together as a family. My husband and I are very involved with youth work, and the majority of our work is done during the hours that school is not in session. If my children were in traditional school, we would have to choose between spending time with the youth we serve or our own family. Our choice to homeschool has allowed us to have more time with our children. The final upside that I will mention is that by homeschooling, you get to have the pleasure of watching your children learn. There is something so exciting about the moment when you see your child's face light up and hear the words, "Oh, I get it." As a former teacher, I have encountered this with many children, but there is nothing as sweet as seeing it in my own kids. I would be sad to miss out on these opportunities. Downside to homeschooling. The main downside to homeschooling is that it takes a lot of work, commitment, and dedication on the part of the parents to ensure that the children are learning and growing. It is not easy coming up with different lesson plans and curriculum for each of my children. Some days it is not easy keeping my children motivated to learn. We do have days when I think it would be a whole lot easier to send them to a traditional school. Another downside to homeschooling is that it is easy to feel isolated. I have to make an effort to leave the house and make sure that my children have regular interaction with their peers. It would be easy to just remain inside our family bubble, but I know that this is not what is best for my family. I also know that after a week without interacting with the outside world, I feel like I am losing my mind, and getting out is a necessity.